Welcome, Vimal.
Oh, good evening, Shiva. Good morning, Jeff. Good evening, Alok. How are you doing?
Very well.
Hello, Dr. Flumi,
Harry,
Harry,
everybody.
Lee, Choi. How are you doing?
Dr. Frumi.
Dr. Flumi.
Well,
Hi, Amit.
Hey,
Kevin.
Vimal.
Oh, we have
Hi,
everybody.
Amit.
Great.
hey Jay,
Hi.
how are you?
Hi, sir. How are you doing?
Good, good. Yeah, long time. Hope
Yes, sir.
everything is moving the right direction.
Oh yeah, money. There, money is on the money. Money is money.
Art, artificial intelligence money.
So the specific, line we use is in order to get AI. First, you need to have intelligence.
Oh, God.
Then you can create artificial intelligence.
Very true. Absolutely.
And the way you get to intelligence,
Huh.
and the formula that we've written it is in the OpenTangle white paper. Someday when we are all either very stoned or very drunk, depending on what people like to do, we can go through that white paper.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Good one,
Tell you
actually.
why. Let me tell you why I say that. Just for fun, we start this call with a little fun tidbit.
Great, great.
So if you guys go to the opentangle.ai website, right, this is the core layer of what we are doing, right? You guys know that. Everybody knows that, right?
Correct.
This is how we track things on networks. And if you go to commercialization, you'll see, our companies, the core one, shop type, everybody knows. Awake Money is there, Awake Me, Awake X. This other stuff that's not yet launched and will be launching, but it's not, linked anywhere. Is this white paper? Just for fun. Where is the admitting? Someone's joining. Where is the link to admit people? If I'm in
You have
share,
to go to
I
the
can't see.
participants.
Oh,
Yeah.
there, admit. Okay. All right, that's Naveen. Just in time. And there is actually a video in which I walk through this with somebody. I can't remember. I'll send that out. But basically, this is what I wrote last year. Oh, it's 1 year ago. Just to kind of how do you get to intelligence? In order to get to artificial intelligence, you need to actually get to intelligence. What is intelligence itself? People don't know. So here we actually define how we can get to intelligence. This is the formula. And you guys can read it. It's going to be a fun little read. It's like opentangle.ai/white paper. It's very short because it's not written. It's a work in progress. Right?
Okay.
The problem of intelligence, right? The problem is of creating AI.
Yes.
AI needs data, and data needs sensors, right?
Sure.
How else will you get data? You have to have a sensor. The sensor is what, like sensors, eyes and ears and, tongue and all that. These are senses, sensors. That's how you process the universe, these sensors, So in order to have information, you have to have a sensor. Without a sensor, you cannot get information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in order to create our AI layer, this OpenTangle layer, our information is coming from other networks. So how do we create that network of networks? And why does it equate to data? And why does it equate to information and intelligence and money? Why do they say knowledge is power? Information is money, like all those things, arbitrage, blah, blah, blah. It all boils down to this notion of intelligence, having the data, and being able to act on it. Right? That's what is AI.
Absolutely.
So if you read this, it'll be a fun little. I'll stop talking now. It's 6:08. So over to you guys. Hey, good morning and good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'll kick off the updates. But let's talk about OpenTangle some other time. It's a fun little topic.
Yeah, we must have these sessions. I mean,
In fact,
next sessions onwards, we could take one topic.
In fact, Amit,
and
you remember, I told you about what happened 30 years ago with me when I talked about information and data.
Yeah, I mean, those that
I
discover
was
this,
giving,
yeah,
correct.
they discover the
So,
keys to unlimited riches.
unlimited this thing, yes, correct. I was talking to some people in XLRI Jamshedpur. I have to define what is data, what is information, what is processing. Oh my God.
Amit, did you get a chance to introduce Dr. Frumi to everybody? I
Yes,
haven't
yes,
attended
yes.
last
That was
talk.
the one time that you had missed out.
Yeah.
That was the
That's
time.
perfect.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
everybody's known to each other over here.
Yes,
Jay Saxena also has been introduced, I think.
Yes,
last
yes,
time.
yes.
He has been introduced.
Yeah.
So
Alok
actually,
also.
let's kick off. So I'll, my major updates are, and Naveen and everyone else who's, um, going through this with me every day, Troy, let me know if I missed anything. Vimal, of course, the major update is that our conversations with our first investor, as you guys have seen on the video and, also on the blog, I actually posted more recently the whole thing with BNP, our first investor. So if you go to the blog, I'll just paste that link here in case you guys missed it on the Zoom chat. So that's the link with, you guys should watch this video with our first investor. It's on the blog now. And so we're very much in process of closing this first round. And it's a 5 million plus 5 million type deal, 2 tranches. And so we are expecting that in the next, I would say by, certainly by the end of the month at the outside, we are expected to, close this.
Close it, yeah.
Very, get really, in the meantime, we are very much in synchronization exercises with his businesses to understand, his network of cash flows today, which is, very, very significant. He owns so many businesses. He just bought a Swiss bank, for instance. And we even briefly mentioned about branding it as Awake Bank because he has very, very large scale ambitions. What will happen with Awake? I mean, for him, we chatted briefly about it this Saturday. Troy was there and others, I think Riaz and Vimal were talking. And Vimal, I don't want to speak out of turn, but I did want to share this one line that stuck with me, that for BNP, it is his opportunity to take on Reliance platforms and geo platforms, in India, and Reliance is one of the world's largest companies. So I'll stop. That's the main update, guys. People are very excited about what we're doing. We're signing up, more networks. I'll let Naveen talk about Shiro's and also Motherly, and others. But I wanted to just focus on at a strategic level why people are coming, and you should watch the video. And his excitement is really that we can, we are a platform as a service. People have platforms, it takes them a lot to build them. For us, it's one click. We are democratizing not infrastructure as a service, which Amazon already did, but we're democratizing the next layer at an incredible abstraction, right? Entire businesses.
I'm told Gerhard is trying to come inside.
I'm not seeing anybody right now.
It
Ask
says
him to try
Zoom.
again. Just log out and log in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to add. Vimal, if you could, just add some context here, that'd be great. And then let's go to Troy to continue the thread, and then to Jeff, and then to Fruit.
Yeah, wonderful. Good evening and good morning to everybody. We had a very good meeting, and like Amit had mentioned, the whole, I think we had close to, Amit, maybe around 20, 25 meetings with this gentleman, even if it, all the communications and all that, if you count, so he was really studying very closely, as much as we were studying very closely about his credentials, understanding what and where he can come in for the support. There are investors who come in just with money and, they expect to do a lot of things, but we have here investor over here who's well connected not only in India but also globally. He's got 3-star hotels in Europe. He's just bought over a hospital from Tata's. You must have heard of the Tata Group in India, a very large group. He represents a very large state, where the chief minister has been there for 25 years, who happens to be connected to him. He's very close to, the prime ministers and companies. He's just bought over a Swiss bank, like Amit mentioned. He would like to make it Awake Bank. Amit, he and the tech team are very, very going to work very closely to develop a cryptocurrency, in maybe a year's time. So they're all already research and discussions have started. So various exciting thing, and he was quite excited to when Amit had mentioned that all across different markets in the globe, we have our own members who are working, team members, associates, who are working across the world, and we are ready to activate each of them over there. One of the first projects that is close to his heart and which he has launched in Poland is an e-learning initiative. We are discussing how we can integrate that and see how that can actually go on to various other countries if required. Maybe we don't know, but at this stage, maybe another 10, like how Amit mentioned, before the end of the month, we should be able to close the first round, and then the activities will start. He does watch over closely, on what is the progress and what happens, as much as Amit would, so at least at the initial stages. And we are very fortunate that we can now kickstart the whole thing. Amit had also mentioned that each of the team members over here are entrepreneurial, and each of these divisions, initiatives, whatever we are starting, will be brought to a certain level, and there will be independent investors also coming in at that point in time, which really excited him. As a model, this model he has, as an investor, he felt can take on the Reliance in India. Now, when somebody makes a statement like that, with a man of his stature, he really means it. That means he has seen that value, over 7 months. He in fact told Amit that, I might have taken 7-8 months, but whenever I invest into something, I deep dive. I may be talking very little, but I understand, study the project, the people, how they're going to really bring the whole thing. That is what he was doing so far. And we have, I think it's a very good note. I think thank you, Amit, for really. It's not about the idea itself. At every given time, every month, every week, new presentations, new projections, new packaging, which you, Troy, and all the other team members could put in together, and we could show him some fantastic, demos as far as Shiro's goes, and the excitement around, the launch of Weed and Spiritful and various other platforms. All these ideas to put it in this stature, I think Amit, you and the entire team sitting over here and outside who have been supporting, we wholeheartedly thank everyone for the support. And we are sure that with this team, Amit, we will really, blast the world. And Reliance may be just a small part of the cake whom we'll be overtaking. Maybe Amazons and the Googles of the world also will fall in line.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Couldn't have said it better, Vimal. Thank you.
Good job done. Very good job.
So we're almost there. Sorry, before we continue that trail that I had set up, Naveen, can you? Oh, there's Gerhard. So Naveen, just go over product and new networks and all of those pieces. I think that's probably the product update.
Yeah. So from beginning last week, I think still our focus is taking Weed online. So we're doing everything to make sure we're on track. We're on track for that. So most of engineering, we're working on making all the last final, pieces, just polishing up, to make sure we have a full beta launch. I think we're already live with Weed, but this is like a beta launch, the second launch for for Weed. Other than that, yeah, we've been talking to a new network called Motherly. They were initially pretty skeptical about, they did not see the whole thing, right? I mean, actually, they were one of the first few companies. We started the discussion a long time back, but it took them a little longer. But then finally, last Friday, something clicked, and they really it's a very big network, very similar to Shiro's. Shiro's is a bit more on the selling. I think Motherly is a bit more on the moms and entrepreneurship around the moms and in general, that space. So pretty excited there. They could be a very good addition to our overall network profile, right? So that's one high profile network that, I think we'll be onboarding very shortly. Other than that, Heroes, I think we went live last month, as we all know. That's going okay. We're working on moving on to the version 2 there. We went live with an alpha version, and now we're working on moving them to the beta. Things are going fine. There are a few bugs here and there that we are working through, but for most part, it seems like at least the business continuity is maintained on their side, and they're able to, get their orders through. Other than that, we're just working with a bunch of countries, going live, working closely with Shiva on a few countries. Pilots, all of them are. We're just trying to, get some initial structure in place in each of these countries, and then kick off a pilot. We'll learn a lot from that pilot, and then slowly build on top of it. I think that's the strategy we're taking there. But I think these are some of the stuff that's happening on the product world, and some of the new networks that are coming on board. Amit, anything else?
Anything on? Do you want to add on Awake Money? Let's have Jay have a couple.
Yeah,
Did you want to say anything there on money side? We're doing.
I think on money side, Jay, I'll let you speak to it. But the Awake Money and Awake Press, and a couple of other big focuses we are taking as part of overall product. Again, Awake Money, we have general Awake Money, and then we have Awake Money specific for weed, because weed brings a whole other regulation and stuff with it. So I'll let Jay. Jay speak to it. Jay is leading that effort, but a little on the product side.
Sure. The strategy for Awake Money is really in 2 verticals as of now, to launch an MVP very soon, and also to launch a full services network for weed. But the idea is to sort of warehouse this into a separate entity, not in Awake Money. The idea really is that one wants as limited regulatory oversight on Awake and Awake Money. So the idea is that we'll create a separate company which would sort of provide the same set of payment rails and the entire Awake Money like system for weed. Where we will warehouse this, we haven't decided as yet, but that's the first intent. Where we are on Awake Money really is that we are sort of finalizing a roadmap in terms of a product functionality roadmap, and also are in the midst of finalizing a go-to-market strategy for Awake Money. We've actively studied the commercials related to almost all relevant people in this space, and we will very, very soon come back to all of you with a formal note outlining how we want to roll out Awake Money in terms of features and functionalities which can be used by all of you, and also broad level commercials around which we hope to build the Awake Money. So that's it from my end.
Cool. Very exciting stuff. We've got our first couple of customers in the pipeline now this week for Weed Money in particular. So I will say, Jay, that please do. This is side note. We can talk more, Naveen. That when we engage with our friends in Camp Nova, we tone back our that we're about to build it and all. Well, I've told them that it's all ready to go. Okay, so use the word.
Absolutely.
So we need to train Aditya to not go and say things like we're about to get started and we're very excited and all. We're not excited. We're never excited. This is all like passé and blasé stuff for us.
We'll take care of it, Amit. Don't worry.
How yesterday? So anyway,
we will get this done.
That we're not going
like I told you last night, we will get this done, Amit. No issues on that. We will absolutely get this done.
Go live with our first major. So you guys should check it out. CampNovaOnline.com. It's a cool network that we got connected to, and that we're going to enable with Awake Money. It's really cool. Weed Money. All right. So over to you. Next, I think, who was it? Troy, did you want to go?
Sure. Good day, everyone. So from my side, over the past week or two, the focus has been around a few different things. So number one, Shiva and Gerhard, I received your WhatsApp communications this morning, and I'm working on a template from my side for both countries and companies on how we can actually templatize the onboarding process. In other words, how can we organize bringing on so many different countries and so many opportunities in each of those companies within those respective countries. So I'll be putting out kind of a formalized, pathway of steps. The other side is focusing on the ComFac layer, the BankFac layer, and the CapFac layer. Part of the capital facilitation is in the early stages. How do we effectively, as Awake VC, reach out and support our underlying companies? Part of that support comes certainly with the OpenTangle layer and the commerce facilitation provided by ShopType and those sorts of things. But beyond that, there's going to be the necessity of funds in every one of these companies. So what we're looking at is how do we, from a funding perspective, support once these corporations are organized and people have, given us reason that they want to participate in the Awake network. So that's kind of what my focus has been for the last week, is organizing those thoughts and the structure that would be applicable, globally, so that as we discover new opportunities and individuals choose to join this Awake network, we can effectively integrate, kind of interweave them into our processes. And we can basically take what's been a pretty long learning curve for individuals that are getting involved in Awake and kind of shorten that through a little bit of an instruction, through a little bit of a templatized process of walking through and reading. So even on the capital facilitation side, there's a lot to learn. There's each company that will be raising its independent capital for its independent venture. It'll have its own management team and its own founders. And at the same time, we have the Halo programs, and we have the Awake, the co-VC partners, and many opportunities to basically funnel cash as individuals prove that those businesses that they have. We want to be responsible. I'll say this. So there's a lot of great ideas out there, but we need people in some capacity to demonstrate that they have a vision and they can articulate the vision and why they feel like this Awake network would empower them in that particular area. So as they understand what Awake has to offer and they weave that into the vision and they demonstrate to us that they can put together an effective management team and articulate that vision and those sorts of things, then we have more confidence in promoting those, I would say, to the top of the to-do list, if you will, because we want to empower the founders that are already naturally exceeding in their marketplaces. And I think everybody on this call has already done that. You're already working in your respective marketplace and adding a tremendous amount of value. So we want to continue to support those people. So the onboarding templates, kind of this pathway to capital. And this pathway to capital is also kind of in 3 different areas. It's the earliest stages. How do we help the earliest stage companies to launch in this network and to get the capital that they need to get off the ground? But then obviously you all know that there's this Bloomberg 2.0, this data-driven live analytics that we can get from these mature companies that are providing to us the back end, the advantages we need from a roll-up strategy or a private equity marketplace for taking companies public in some manner. But in the middle there's a whole lot of financing that needs to happen. You can call that your angel VC private equity layer. And what I'm trying to do is put together what can be spelled out as a pathway to capital through all those stages. It's not about getting the first check in the door, although that's important, but it's getting that check in the door and then utilizing that money and hitting key performance indicators, hitting your objectives within that first stage so that you prove to those, say, intermediate stage capitalization partners that you're succeeding in your objectives and that they need to be continuing to fund and put money behind. And then looking forward to saying, what's the incentive to putting that in? It's being able to recapitalize or remain a part of a network or find an exit or a liquidity event or an acquisition. So that's what I've been working on, is being able to put down in a few slides that are easy to understand how we will lead companies through this pathway and of capital, and so that there's a long associated vision. Because one thing doesn't change. When investors come in, they may not fully understand Awake and the power in the ecosystem, but they have a question that they want answered, and that was, how would I get my money back? if I'm going to support your business, how do I get my money back? What's the exit strategy? And oftentimes enthusiastic entrepreneurs, which many of you have long been past those early stages and you've had successes, but many new people joining us will, they'll be building something with a grandiose vision and they say, hey, just give us the money, we'll go build it. And the investor's saying, well, if you do, how will I get that money back? And so that's something we're putting in there, is trying to put that whole pathway to capital so that the vision that you go out there with isn't just, I'm going to take your money and build a company, but it's, I'm going to take your company, or I'm going to take your money, build this company, and that's going to provide this value back to you and to the rest of the world and to my community, and on and on and on. And if we replicate that content and we put that vision out among 100 different companies that are a part of the Awake ecosystem, we have this fantastic opportunity to just explode. So that's the mindset, and now the practical steps of getting it on paper and transferring the vision to multitudes of people is the actual task at hand. So that's what I've been working on.
So Amit, I just wanted to add one small thing over here. Troy, each of the countries, see, for example, let us say we have Awake Biz, okay? This is as I'm giving as an example. So Awake Biz is more or less, accepted in any geography, because we are really trying to connect all the business CEOs and communities and create a whole platform over there. So it is really applicable across. Same way, there Awake Fashion and various Awake Pets, Solar. So there are various projects which are applicable to most of the countries. So each of the country, now for example, if you take Awake Biz and there is a target that we have laid of, let us say, $10 million. These are all examples, okay, in the first year one, right? So what will each country contribute to that central target? And that is one part. And a business plan for each of this country needs to be made. I mean, what is the first hook or the low-hanging fruit that they will be? For example, in Korea, he said pets. Pets is one thing that he's going to get into in a big way. Then he said, okay, I'll become a white label, this thing. That is a revenue stream. So that entire 2 revenue streams, which is thought of as the first step initiative that is going to take. With that, around that, if we could add biz, etc., what would be the kind of business that we can expect year one after setting up in 4 months, year 2, year 3, so that across the globe we are all talking to investors, and that I will be leading that process along with Amit, to identify, because Awake VC is the concept itself is to get money and disperse it and invest it into right properties and create values through this co-seller system, CapPack, which nobody else is doing. This whole concept itself needs to come out with the fact that if you have business plans in each of the countries, or any of the initiatives which may be exclusive to that country also, maybe in Africa, he could have African handicrafts and stuff like that, which he would like to, focus on Africa itself. But we need to have these first 2 initiatives identified, with which they can build a kind of a business plan, so that we understand that, okay, to achieve these figures, this is the kind of little investments that it would take for us to, go to an investor. Right, Amit?
Absolutely.
Am I on the right track? Yeah.
Clarify, or to add to that, I should say, the country nodes have to be viable. Every node has to be viable, right? So every node is a P&L, and that P&L we have to be clear as to what is the projection for the 36 months, 24 months, 12 months, right? 2 quarters, and how are we going to finance it? What are the finances? So all the standard stuff. This is totally templatized, okay? And it's going to come from Troy, and we have a whole packet, the one that Barry and I and others created in the past, and we've used now, as a system across all the financials. So that has to be done for each, right? And it's a very simple, straightforward cash flow
process.
Vimal is pointing out that in 2 quarters, we expect cash flows to be, self-sustaining, because this is not some complicated, let's start from zero exercise. This is a very simple, go and get the first billion and start translating 10% of that, right? It's not complicated. Go and rescue the first $1 billion or $10 billion of revenue that's about to go down the toilet, like Borders and Circuit City. Just go rescue it. That's all, right? This is not some complicated stuff that we need to start from scratch. So as this becomes clear, and we are talking with Frumi and everyone else, there's going to be this OKRs, objectives and key results that each individual, each network, each node will have. And it's a 12-month view, quarterly view, monthly view, weekly view, daily view, and real-time view, right? We know exactly what's going on across our networks. And if it's not on the ledger, in the sense that if OpenTangle is not tracking something, it doesn't exist. It's meaningless to talk about something that's not on the ledger. So we should work with the team to get something new tracked if you need, whatever it is. But everything is on the ledger. We don't discuss stuff that doesn't, opinions. These things, luckily for us, they don't come in our way because we have the ledger. We have OpenTangle. From that comes intelligence. Opinions are not intelligent. Intelligence is intelligence, and we've reified it on the ledger. So it's like a real oracle now, no pun intended, Barry, that we can ask the ledger, what is the answer? That's called intelligence. And we use it day to day, because I don't have to know what you did yesterday, day before tomorrow. It's on the ledger. It's evident. Activity is tracked for whatever anybody ever does online or offline, because we're tracking people. The sensor network that we were discussing in the OpenTangle white paper are people. People are the sensors. We've turned everybody into a sensor for their own data. They capture their own data and they let us monetize it. That includes data you're doing things like sales, process, or, enterprise sales, or whatever it is we're doing in an organization. That data is also captured in the very same systems, because everything is a social activity, right? So we're just tracking networks of people doing all these things on sales or learning or, OKRs or whatever. So one system, one intelligence, single network. This is the fabric, and so all of this will become simple because it's intelligence. It's a natural thing. There's nothing complex about it. So thank you, Vimal. Very important to remember that cash flow is the lifeblood of any business. We start and end with cash flow. We do not have a gross negative transaction, because we start after the fact, right? With the sale, and then we distribute money. We know exactly how much we keep our 5%. There should be zero transactions that are, it's a pure cash flow game. There's nothing complex about it. And we need to get to that level of simplicity, because we're going to be talking at that scale. We're like a payment processing system, nothing complex. We're going to have to ask the same questions over and over. How many sellers? How many views? How many co-sellers? How many transactions? How many? It's the same metrics over and over and over again. And now the first gas is being, put in the tank, and we're about to light the match, right? We're going to be in a next level of conversations. So these metrics need to be, imbibed, breathed, that's all we talk about, data, right? That's what it means. Over to you, Frumi. I think if you can pick up on that, and, we can't hear you. Nope. I can't hear you. Can anybody else hear?
No.
Okay. We're having trouble. Yeah, we'll come back to you.
Hey, Frumi, it seems like maybe you're on a different mic.
Oh, there's your cat.
And there's a cat. Okay, so while we wait, there's an important update from Frumi. She will talk briefly and about all the learning pieces and the OKRs and all that other stuff. Just wanted some flavor there. So can we go to Jeff and then come back to Frumi? I think she might be okay by that.
Hi guys, good to hear you. Good to see everybody. This meeting, I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm totally inspired. Like I've just sent in the chat to Amit that this is the best meeting I've attended. So anyhow, I'm pretty excited for the new year and what's going on. I'm involved in a lot of different things. I just actually made a list while everybody was talking. I've got sort of 5 major initiatives that I'm involved with. I'm working with a bunch of people on Biz, and we've decided, at least in principle, that of all the possible things in the world that you can do in Biz, we're going to focus on the gig economy and fractional executives and assessments of those people. And that'll be where we start and then grow from there. So we're starting to build a plan around that. and we're going to be meeting with Ankur shortly to work on an MVP. I'm also involved with Halo. Ahmed and I have been meeting with a professor here in Toronto at Ryerson University who runs the accelerator program for Ryerson, the DMZ. And we've been talking about him coming in as part of the Halo concept, so that we can accelerate all of the verticals globally and work together with Frumi and others to develop the templates and processes that will be required to be implemented in order to ensure success in each one of these verticals. I'm also working with Troy and Ahmed on the CapFac side. I've been doing some, Troy talked about sort of the journey, the capital journey. I've been looking at the end piece of the journey a little bit, the exit. The Capital Pool Company program, they call it CPC here in Canada, has been liberalized, which these are mini SPACs and they can go public fairly inexpensively and very quickly. And so I'm just trying to get my head around how we might plug into it and systematize and create a process around that. I'm also interested in getting involved with this shop type raise that's going on now. And I'm meeting with Troy later this week to focus on that. If I'm not already busy with all of that, I continue to work on recruiting leaders of verticals in Canada, North America. I did a bit of a test of a LinkedIn and Facebook campaign to my network of entrepreneurs, kind of saying what this opportunity looks like fairly cryptically, just to see what the response has been. And there's been about a dozen people. Some are not appropriate, but as Frumi develops the criteria and we better understand what we're looking for, we can develop programs like this to recruit and find the best people in every jurisdiction to drive these verticals. Right now, to me, it feels a little bit, throwing darts and seeing, or maybe fishing. It's like fishing. You put the line in the water and every so often somebody jumps in the boat. So I'm looking for boat jumpers right now. One that we've got that's quite promising is a woman who wants to do a vegan network. She had planned to build a vegan related network regardless. And then we just have said, build it on top of Awake. You might as well monetize it from the get-go as opposed to waiting till you build your network.
That's a very big network. It's a very big network, globally growing by 20%.
Yeah, she's a very impressive woman. She's a lawyer. She was running the immigration practice at, I think, PwC and globally. And she's just sort of moved on. And so she's a mature, seasoned both lawyer and entrepreneur. And this is her second act, if you will. So we're just trying to figure out, what I like to put things in boxes, and I sort of see that there's three sort of routes to go to be a vertical. There's the kind of, we'll call it the VEED route, which is coming from within, where Awake creates the vertical, finds the people, and really kind of, nurtures it and incubates it from within. So that's option one. And that's what, Barry's doing with VEED, I suppose. Option two is Halo. You create your own company and you come into an accelerator program where we teach them best practices, and then they launch their business, and Halo will earn or own a piece of each company and some of the cash flow. And then the third option is DIY, do it yourself. Form a company or bring in your own network or whatever you've got, but you don't need the support from us as much. And so that, as I meet different people, now I'm going through my head, are they a VEED? Are they a Halo? Or are they just plug and play their own network? So I'm trying, I'm trying to figure out how people fit in. the automobile vertical that I talked about in the past is sort of on the back burner. The Champion is, for personal reasons, not able to proceed. So I'm back looking for somebody to jump into my boat on that one. And then lastly, I've got sort of, I came to this a long time ago. You guys, I'm sure already know this, but like, it's all about the media too. I know it's about the cash flow, but it's about the media. And so the Toronto Star, which is Canada's biggest circulation newspaper, was recently acquired for like 10 cents on the dollar through a insolvency. And these guys, I don't know what they're going to do with it, but if they're thinking just by getting rid of debt and carrying on business the same way, it'll be another media play that just dies and disappears from the face of the earth. So I'm trying to find the best access to the new owners to tell them that this is how to save their business.
Wonderful.
And see, so Amit said earlier on the call, like, all we have to do is find people that need our help. Well, they don't know we exist, but they're already have a life section and an entertainment section and a business section and a news section and a sports section and so they've already producing the content. Might as well just put a co-seller link on it and be done with it. But they don't know that opportunity exists. So I'm trying. I've got a couple very good leads into them, but I haven't cracked it yet. Lastly, I've been talking to Amit and Frumi about reaggregation, which is the communication sort of aggregation of ideas. So that's me.
Thank you, Jeff.
So nice.
Cool. We have about 15 minutes.
So you can
I think
hear me
Frumi is
now?
back.
Frumi.
Yes, in 7 years on Zoom, I've never had that problem. So that was very bizarre. It kept saying I was recording instead of I was speaking. So obviously, Jeff told you what we're doing together. With VEED, I'm supporting Barry in creating an execution plan, because after the business plan comes the execution plan to make sure that we all know what the priorities are and the competencies we need and the people we need to hire. So we're in the process of finalizing that this week, as well as creating our OKRs and our KPIs, which are slightly different. So that's what we're doing with VEED. And then I'm also working on plugging in, I guess it would be the plug and play version. I'm a partner with Wiley Publishers, which creates a whole bunch of assessments, including DISC, which is a personality assessment that allows people to know how to motivate employees, how to speak to each other and communicate so they're more effective, as well as Pat Lencioni's work, which is 5 cohesive behaviors of a team, which assesses whether a team is healthy, whether they trust each other, can have constructive conflict, are committed, are accountable to each other, and create results. So that's all good to go. Amit is connecting me with the person who can allow me to just put that on the network. And what that will allow is that everybody within the network will have an opportunity to grow safely and be as effective as they can be. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good.
Do you want to briefly talk about the OKRs and that process of how?
Well, every business will have to have obviously the metrics that fit them. So let me talk about that next Tuesday after we give some examples with VEED.
Sounds good. Excellent. Right. So yeah, just again on that, we're creating this broad process that will have metrics driven clarity for everyone. So there's no, it's very simple. Everybody very clearly knows how everything is. We're going to be very transparent about metrics that are in each organization and even across Awake, so that anyone can jump on any metric and start to improve it, and everyone knows what they're doing, right? So, and they know what they're doing. So, so that's the idea. Who's next here? Shiva, do you want to walk us through? Okay, so before we do that, very quickly, Kuru, do you want anything? You want to add anything on operations?
Nothing much from my side. I mean, we're continuing to get VEED out.
Okay.
I'm
all hands on deck.
VEED this day.
When are we expecting V2? end of month or something? Naveen, any ideas, thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, let's get V1 first, Amit.
Yeah, we're just getting started with V2, Amit. Yeah,
Okay.
as soon as Manjul gets comfortable, I think we should be able to get to a point.
Yeah, I'm excited about the new version because we'll be getting off of the template, basic template.
Yep.
Awesome.
Look,
So, Alok, do you want to say, news type, what's going on, and then we'll go over global.
Yeah, just to share with you guys, in India, we've been talking to, initially, when we started with some big publications like the Hindu and Hindustan Times and, a couple of regional publications. But we realized that the process there is pretty long and, they take their own sweet time to revert to us. So what we thought is that, we should talk to some of the companies, smaller companies who have used us or, similar platforms in the past, which have been created by our team. So one of the companies that, it's a very large website, which caters to the entire eastern sector in India. It's called East Mojo. So we are talking to them, and they basically cater to all the 8 states in the eastern region of India. So we are talking to them, and we've had very good discussions with them. In fact, today also, just before our call, both me and Vimal were on a call for almost an hour and a half with them, wherein, we explained to them. And, the next step, of course, is that, they would want to see a demo, which we are going to plan for sometime next week. Parallelly, we had also initiated some discussions with, a couple of other people. So that also is in the process. And I'm sure as we go along, we should be able to, get at least 1 or 2 smaller companies on board. While they are smaller, when I say smaller, they're not like the Times of India or the Hindustan Times, which are really the media giants in India, but they are very strong in their respective regions. And not just in India. This gentleman who runs this East Mojo, he has very good connections in Bhutan and Bangladesh and Myanmar. So basically, once we get them on board, then perhaps we can also look at, the entire Eastern market, East Asian market through these guys. So that is what the plan is. So as of now, I think we are moving in the right direction. And last week is when we had initiated this first call, wherein Amit introduced the entire project to them, and they are pretty excited. And then this, of course, was the second call. I'm sure as we go along, we will be able to connect with them after the demo also. So plus, of course, we are now initiating, some new client contacts also, and that's where we are. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much.
Thank
We'll
you.
implement that in other countries also easily, one by one.
Right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Alok.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Perfect.
Alok.
Thanks. Really excited to see, eastmojo.com, which is currently on Quintype, which they're, it's a template. You'll find it quite familiar. We're going to be, they're moving off, but we are basically taking them from a media company to East Mojo being a brand,
That's right.
and then a business that has media as a driver for their international commerce, right? So that's really what we're turning them into. Okay, Shiva, you want to quickly walk us through global?
Yes.
Barry, sorry, just so Barry, we have, so before we do global, 1 minute for you to give us, a VEED update, and then we'll go to global.
Okay, I'll try and be quick on this one. First of all, a key thank you to the team behind this. We are in a very intensive period right now as we're kind of doing a soft launch on VEED for the month of January. We're getting some last pieces in on VEED 1.0, as Karu was talking about and Naveen referenced. And then once we're up then running there. We've got the business running. We'll start on the VEED 2.0 piece. A lot of small final pieces going in place for both on the chop type side and on the VEED online and the VEED network piece. So the next 2 weeks showing a lot of change. We've got businesses that are going on board and then starting to go live. We have a lot of excitement with the people, some really interesting businesses that are driving some really incredible pushes for their own media of what they're doing that helps us along the way. And it's just the next 4 or 6 weeks are going to be pretty intense, as any of you who know, who have done go lives before. We create something, we'll work our way through, we'll find little hiccups along the way, we fix it, and we've got an incredibly good team behind us to make this happen. And along that way, when we look a little bit farther along, a big thank you to Furumi. Furumi has come in, spent some time with our team and looking at who we are, what we're doing, where we are, and as she likes to say, 12-week plans, so quarterly, and multiples of those in series. So we have execution plans to know precisely where we're going, what we're looking to target, how we're going to measure those. Those execution plans, as you know, in business are essential. And so we can build a plan and execute the plan, because if you don't have a plan, you'll get somewhere, just maybe not where you want. A big thank you to Amit and folks for the introductions along the way. Those and Jeff as well. Keep those coming, please. It's one of those ones where looking at how we leverage time, if you can find businesses and help bring those in, and then we can have the conversations. I'm happy to land those. I have to divide my time right now primarily focused on the investment and the closing the sales and onboarding them and making sure the pieces land, and then I can get more towards some of the outbound reach that we go. But that's, I think, it's going to be very busy, and just keep watching as we go. This is really interesting.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Yep. VEED is going to be very, very exciting and interesting.
Very
We're
exciting.
really getting connected to a lot of cool things.
This year
Okay,
is going to be
Shiva, you want to
exciting.
quickly go through?
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Naveen. I think we have completed the templatization of piloting. In fact, both countries which are existing here today, Korea and South Africa, will start without Stripe and have the pilot implemented so that they can start showcasing the whole product to everybody. Okay. So can I have South Africa to talk about something? Gerhard, you're there.
Yeah, we've done our first testing. The second testing on the co-seller, that process did not work out. We're having a discussion later on today on that. I've been in contact with RJ about that, and I think it's about which buttons we use there, the publish one or the send one, because the co-seller couldn't interact at all into the network and could not buy, so there could be no flow from there. And then we just having the discussions with Naveen later on in terms of the wallets and the setup, because at this stage Paystack, which is runs on Stripe, does not give us that functionality. So if we've got multiple people doing it, we're going to go into a massive problem, because we won't be able to do the payments immediately, and that could be a problem. So we'll sort out the co-seller and that test, and once that is done, then we can start bringing in a second seller and then see how we can run that through. So it's a question of keep on trying it and sorting out the bugs.
Correct.
Yeah. So we're meeting later today, Gerard. I think you are using the wrong link. We'll go over it to show what's the right way to do the facilities.
Yes. So Lee, you want to say something? Lee?
Yeah, I just want to say something. I mean, Shiva and I can exclusively talking about how we overcome the current issues. I mean, Korea has been the kind of a good position, but now we're still struggling to get to the next level of stage, mainly because from the PG and the way the people accept the technology and everything. And just Shiva just mentioned a minute ago, Shiva and Navin arrange kind of pilots without PG things, so that's me have a clear access to the verticals and I mean templates, and then people here, including investors and all people and co-sellers and media, they all see how we work. And then we should definitely find a good company or gentleman to tackle those PG things, and hopefully talk to the Navin and the technical staff of Awake, because it's been arranged and practiced, but got any good results because of many simple but critical reasons so far. So I really look forward to have a vertical arranged by Shiva and Navin, and then we take it from there. Thank you.
Correct. Let's do it fast now. Naveen, what I'm trying to tell you is that without a Stripe or a Paystack, whatever it is, see where the Stripe is existing, we are very fast. We can do everything.
Right.
In non-Stripe activities, we'll do that way you suggest in the morning.
Yeah,
Then
we can do that because we always have the wallet and all the functionality on our side.
Absolutely.
We just have to do some, and this is only for the pilot. As we go, we can.
Correct. So Kevin, can we hear from you also?
Sure. Good to see everybody. So yes, some of the things that I've been working on, a little bit all over the board, but if a friend in Kansas City that has a small voice over IP telco, I've reached out to him, asked him, if he considered doing any MVNO activity. He didn't know what MVNO was, which kind of surprised me. But gave him some information, but not sure where that's going. Did reach out to somebody in the telehealth community. I explained to her, what we were doing. She asked for some collateral material. I had sent her to awake.vc, and then she came back and said, "Oh well, we're in survival mode right now, so not ready to take that on." And my thought was, wow, if you're in survival mode, it seems like this would be a great thing to take on. And so it made me think that, either, I don't know, I wasn't clear in the message, or somehow, sending somebody to awake.vc may or may not be our best method for, trying to get the word out. I'm not sure. There are a number of good videos there, but I don't know that people take the time to go look at them. I was working on some VEED investors, but those guys have kind of slowed down, and I've really tried to focus really now on bringing in dispensaries. So I've been calling into the Michigan dispensaries, really just, get, phone numbers, emails, all those kinds of things, working on that database. And so trying to, work on that daily now. And so, my goal is really, to get a couple of catalogs in the VEED online, and get some resellers. So I'm going to try to, continue to focus on that, and try to stay focused on that instead of, all the other extraneous things. So that's.
You're also going to do the pilot with two sellers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. We're just over the hour, and I'm sure that there's lots going on in every part of the world. So we'll call it here, and looking forward to next week, guys. And, tons going on. Stay tuned on theawaken.net. Let's start posting more stuff there. And of course, you guys have access to Slack. So see you around.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Amit.
Take care.
Bye.